Hi everyone, my name is Mike Filsaime. Welcome to another Groove Digital Presents. As you can see, we're now doing them on Wednesdays instead of Fridays. And we have a very special guest today, one of my best friends in the world, certainly one of my best friends in the world of digital marketing. It's my coach, mentor, best friend, the legendary Rich Schefren, who is known as the guru to the gurus. I met Rich Schefren in 2005 at an event. He was one of the speakers at the very first seminar I ever went to, and he showed a slide that showed all the problems that I had in my businesses that needed to be overcome, and I said, that is my man. From there, he went on, and he will show you some of the people that he has coached. He's literally known as one of the most analytical thinking people in our industry. He's one of the most well-read business book leaders that I know in the industry. And when I want to know something about business, when it's on a high level, a meta level, there's one person I call, and it's Rich Schefren. I now have the luxury of having my studio literally 15 minutes away from where Rich lives, and we watch UFC fights together, and we can't even watch the fights without talking more about business than watching the fights. Rich is going to tell you more about himself, but even more importantly is what you're going to be learning today. You're going to be learning how to spot different business breakthroughs that are missing opportunities in your business before your competition, and how to exploit them. What Rich does every single month is he interviews no less than 8 and as much as 12 to 15 different business owners, not people that speak on stage and sell products for $9.97 at the back of the stage. You might get one of those every couple of months. He's actually talking to CEOs, CMOs, and CFOs of $10 million, $50 million, $100 million, and billion-dollar companies, and he's asking them in real time, what is working now in your business? And because of that, there's nobody that I ever want to listen to more than Rich Schefren, because he has the latest and greatest tips and information for me. And today you're going to be learning some of that. So Rich, I'm going to mute my microphone. I know I've seen your slides. I know you have some new, never shared, mind-blowing stuff for our Groovesters today. So I'm going to turn it over to you and let you do your magic. Ladies and gentlemen, Rich Schefren.
Thanks, Mike, and thanks for the intro. Appreciate you, and looking forward to the next batch of fights that we get to watch together. And with that, let's dive in, everyone. Today we're going to be, this is a brand new presentation for me. I've never revealed this before. In fact, I am really kind of excited to share this with you, because I believe that once I share it with you, you're going to see marketing in a totally different way from this point forward. You could even say that there was a way that you looked at marketing up until this moment, and when we're done, I truly believe that you will look at marketing very differently than you do right now or any time before this moment. So with that, what we're talking about is a pattern, right? Now, one of the things that makes AI and machine learning work is that at the end of the day, what machine learning and AI is really good at is being able to spot a pattern. And by being able to spot a pattern, it becomes a prediction machine. Now, human beings, you and I, the way we learn in it is also by recognizing patterns. And there's a single pattern that every single marketing strategy, marketing tactic goes through. And I bet you that no one has ever shared this with you, that up until now, you probably have never heard of this, that every marketing strategy, every marketing tactic goes through a specific pattern. And once you identify that pattern, it opens up a lot of doors to you. So everything that we're going to be talking about today is about this pattern. Now, let me just make sure that my slides work, and I'm trying to figure out how to best do that. Okay, there we go. All right, so it doesn't matter if we're talking about content marketing, or we're talking about email marketing, or we're talking about conversion rate optimization, or any of the tactics that make up these categories, or social marketing, or social advertising, or influencer and referral marketing. It does not matter. The pattern is always the same. And once you're able to see the pattern, what you see is different than those who don't see the pattern. So while others might just see, bits and pieces of things, what you see is actually the money opportunities that are hidden behind those things. And so by the time we're done, I'm going to reveal to you this pattern. And this pattern once you accept it, once you see it, and once you're able to recognize it out in the wild, so to speak, it has the power to 2x, 5x, or 10x your business. Whether you're just starting up, whether you've been in business for 20 years, whether you have an e-commerce company, or you're doing affiliate marketing, or whether you're an info publisher, makes no difference. It has the power to do this, and I want to let you know that there's a track record behind it, and I'm going to show you that track record. There's a methodology behind it, and I'm going to show you that methodology. I'm even going to show you some of the shortcuts and strategies so that you can benefit from this very simple yet extremely powerful pattern. All right, so with that said, I want to let you know what I have in store for you towards the end of this presentation. So I've cut up this presentation very differently than I've ever cut up a presentation. We're doing an experiment together, but what I want to share with you is what's in store for you towards the end of this presentation. I'm going to share with you an email strategy that gets a 50% and higher open rate on lists with over 1 million prospects on it. I'm going to show you an upsell strategy that converts at 30 to 50% consistently. I'm also going to show you an unknown strategy that will cut your advertising costs in half on YouTube. And I'm going to show you a simple ad tweak that will double the return on advertising spend, and it has nothing to do with the headline for your ad. So those 4 strategies, by the time we're through, you're going to know, because I'm going to walk you through them. Now, before we get to that though, what I want to do is kind of show you, like, pull back the curtain, so to speak, of how I've been able to help so many companies, so many businesses, so many entrepreneurs grow their businesses. So I'm pulling back the curtain here, and by the time we're done, not only am I going to show you those strategies, but I'm going to show you what has been responsible for me to be able to help so many different businesses from so many different, niches and ways of doing business, and yet the net result is outstanding growth at the end. And what it boils down to is momentum. And if I had to guess right now, most of you are not experiencing the kind of experience that you have when you have momentum. And what I mean by that is that if you've ever had a time in your life, whether it's in your business life or personal life, where it seemed like you couldn't do anything wrong, where like just whatever you tried worked, well, that's what I'm talking about, that kind of momentum. And there's a very specific reason why that momentum occurs. And I'm going to get into the details of that and kind of rip it apart so that you can understand what is the basis of momentum. Now, unfortunately, most people have the opposite of momentum. What they experience is frustration, right? It seems like you're just pushing a boulder up a hill. You're confused. Most people are not sure. Should I do this? Should I do that? Right? And that confusion about what methods will actually grow your business leaves you unsure where to focus. Like, where should you be spending your time? Do you know right now where you could spend your time that will give your business, your profits, the amount of money that you make, grow in the most certain way possible? Because of that, most people end up disappointed with their results, and they're unsure or unclear on the steps to follow to change that. Right? They end up, and I don't know if this is the case for you, it certainly was the case for me when I first started out, of being very overwhelmed, very overloaded, and just wish that I knew which strategies to use, which ones I could ignore, so I could focus on those few that could actually grow my business. And so this ends up really being the resistance, the friction that many entrepreneurs experience when they try to grow their business. And it feels like they're operating in quicksand. Now, that is the complete opposite of momentum. Most people have seen like these hanging balls before, right? You take the one on the left, you pull it to the more to the left, you let it go, and when it comes crashing down, the ball all the way on the right kind of moves on its own, right? Sort of like that. So this is the process, right, of momentum. Whoops. Right? What you do on the left makes everything appear on the right to just move, right? To just grow on its own. What operating in momentum feels like is like this. So if you've ever had the experience where your marketing strategies and tactics were just working for you like overtime, where your business kept growing, where you were in this hyper growth mode, that's what we're talking about. And that's what I want to show you during this webinar, how to achieve for your business, regardless of what business you're in, whether you're just starting out, whether you've been around for a long time, whether you're an affiliate marketer, product owner, what have you. So in essence, I want to take you from being an outsider to an insider. And those words are very important because right now, whether you recognize it or not, odds are is that you're an outsider. And you'll see why I say that in a moment. So timing impacts everything. And I want you to appreciate that there's a right time, there's a right place for everything. And timing is often the essential kind of ingredient to determine whether something's a success or something's a failure. So some things get better over time. For example, wine does. This is the 1945 wine that I cannot pronounce. And the reason I selected it to put in my slide presentation is because this happens to be the most expensive bottle of wine. As you can see, it is $558,000 a bottle. It was sold at auction. And obviously, this is something that has appreciated in value over time. I can assure you that in 1945, it didn't sell for close to that amount. But not everything, right? Not everything improves over time. For example, meet Daryl Hannah. This is her when she had her acting career skyrocketing. Over time, she looked like this. And then over time, she looked like that. Now, just in case some of you are like, think that's unfair of me to choose a female actress, I'm not sexist. Here are two male actors. Vince Vaughn as a younger gentleman currently, right? And if that wasn't bad enough, how about Val Kilmer? Here's Val Kilmer in Top Gun. Here's Val Kilmer now. Quite a big difference. But you know what? What ages even worse than celebrities addicted to plastic surgery is digital marketing. And let me explain why, because this is something that I think, while extremely vital, extremely important, is something that everyone should know who operates online. I can think of only a handful of people who truly get what I'm about to share with you. And that is this, the law of diminishing results. And what the law of diminishing results shows is that over time, every marketing strategy and tactic diminishes in its power to achieve a result. That at the very beginning of that marketing strategy or tactic is when it will work best. And then over time, the results go down and down. So I want to ask you a question, and I want you to seriously consider it for a second. Where do you think that the marketing strategies that you're currently using, where do they sit on this line? Do you think that they sit at the very top? Do you think they sit in the middle? Or do you think they sit towards the right-hand side where the results are negligible? And it's something to strongly consider and to answer to yourself, where do you think that the strategies that you're currently using, where do they sit on this line? Now, if that wasn't bad enough, right, that results plummet over time, there is also the law of increasing effort. And the law of increasing effort states that the effort to get the result increases over time. So you have this effect of where the results diminish over time or plummet, yet the effort it takes to get a result skyrockets over time. So I want you to self-assess yourself again and ask yourself, how much effort right now does your marketing strategies currently require from you to get a result? Is it all the way towards the left where it requires close to no effort and yet the results are coming in strong? Or are you somewhere towards the right where it takes an immense amount of effort to get even the slightest result? Now, what happens is that when you overlay these two diagrams that I just showed you, you end up with a very clear kind of picture of the evolution of marketing strategies, where results go down over time and effort goes up over time. Now, insiders share strategies and tactics when they are all the way on the left-hand side, where the effort is de minimal or de minimis, and the results are exaggerated. And then over time, right, eventually these strategies make their way into courses. Now, when they're in courses, they still work, but they don't work anywhere near as well as they once did, and they require a lot more effort to get that result. And then all the way to the right-hand side, where the results are small but the effort is high, is where the dinosaurs live, right? You're at risk of becoming extinct by using those strategies on the right-hand side. So why does this happen? Let me explain why this happens. It happens because if you think about it, what gets our attention, right? I wrote about this in a report I wrote over a decade ago. It was called the Attention Age Doctrine. And in that report, I wrote two of them actually. And in those reports, I talked about how attention is quickly becoming the scarcest commodity online. And what gets attention is what's different, right? Different is better than better, because better is subjective and hard to assess until someone's purchased the product. But different is obvious and gets noticed immediately. If you've ever heard that when everyone is zigging, you should zag, what this is talking about is what I'm talking about. That a new marketing strategy, a new marketing tactic grabs attention. It also allows for you to not be constrained by certain filters that your prospect has, but we'll get more into that in a moment. Now, I want to give you some examples. I don't want you to take my word for what I just shared with you. I want to prove it to you. I want to show you time and time again that the strategies that end up in courses work best years before, when you didn't know about it, when people like me knew about it, and to explain to you and to show you the impact that has. So let me give you some timeline examples here. All right, back in 2006, I wrote this report called the Internet Business Manifesto. Now, I want you to think less of it about the report and more about how the marketing strategy at this moment in 2006 that I was leveraging was the idea of giving away high value free content. Now, that wasn't being done, believe it or not. I know for many of you who have gotten online in the last 10 years or so, you don't even remember a time when the free model didn't exist, but I can assure you that there was a time that it didn't exist, and it worked incredibly well because of that, right? So I wrote this in 2006. I made $3.5 million within 6 to 8 weeks. I made $7.4 million in the first 12 months from it, and I made over $10 million a year from year 2 and beyond. Now, I wasn't alone. After that, I taught it to certain clients. I taught it to Alex Jeffries, who wrote The Guru's Nightmare. I taught it to Mike Filsaime, who wrote The Death of Internet Marketing. I taught it to Anik Singhal, who wrote The Circle of Profit. All of them made millions, right? It wasn't until 2011, 5 years after I had already used the strategy and had made the money from it, that I introduced it to the world in a $15,000 workshop. And it still worked then, but it didn't work as well as it did in 2006 and 2007, which is why in 2006 and 2007, all I did to grow my business was write free reports. Why would I do anything different? I spent no money on advertising. I spent no money sending people to webinars. They didn't even exist then. But these free reports grew my business. And that's the power of knowing the strategy before the rest of the world knows the strategy, right? It wasn't until 2009. Now, I just showed you the reports I wrote from 2006 to 2008. After 2008, I was done with free reports, okay? In 2009, what the big news, the best-selling book was this idea, right, of this free as the future, as a radical idea, right? It was not a radical idea. We were doing it years ahead of everyone else, and we made a ton of money because it was done before everyone else. By the time it got into a book and the rest of the world heard of it, the opportunity was gone, all right? So you have an example here of when did it work best? It worked best when insiders were actually explaining it to one another. It worked okay when dinosaurs, but like if you were to release a free report today and hope to get the kind of results that we got, good luck, you would be a dinosaur, all right? So that's the first example. Here's the next example. You might not recognize these two gentlemen with me. One is Mark Ford, as you can see. The other is Bill Bonner. These two gentlemen are the founders and owners of Agora Publishing, a $2 billion info publishing business. And here's what Mark Ford had to say about a strategy that I brought into Agora.
In the digital age, we went from 100 million to 1 billion because of that precise thing.
So they went from 100 million to over 1 billion with this one precise thing, right? Here's a letter from Bill Bonner. The one precise thing was me bringing them the VSL, right? The VSL letter, it's the only $1 billion testimonial that I know of, that it's the only one I have, but I think it's the only one out in existence. And it said, that we increased sales 400% in the US, 300% in France, 250% in Germany, and so on and so forth. And when it was combined with a promo called The End of America, we had the single best promotion in the history of the company and in the history of newsletter sales, period, right? So let me give you the timeline for VSLs. Now, I didn't invent VSLs, John Benson invented VSLs, but I was lucky enough to see it really early on. I saw it in 2006. John invented it towards the end of 2005, beginning of 2006. In 2006, right, well, when he did it for himself, his sales exploded. In 2006, he did it for the very first time for a client, Mike Geary of Six Pack Abs. And guess what happened? Sales exploded for Mike Geary. That's when I saw it. That's when I brought it to Agora. In 2009, John Benson taught the VSL method to about 15 to 20 of the top copywriters in the world at a private workshop at Boardroom. It wasn't until 2010 that John Benson released the first VSL course. Are you seeing the pattern here? 2005 it was invented. 2010 was when it was available in a course. That leaves 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009, and parts of 2010 where insiders profited from it. Now, in 2017, Agora and Split Test found that it made no difference in sales if we took a regular sales letter versus a regular VSL. We no longer saw any bump in conversion rates, which means that you were either around from 2006 to 2016 to really profit from it, or you weren't. And now the door's closed and the opportunity is gone. And what I want to impress upon you is not about these specific opportunities, but more so that every single marketing strategy and tactic goes through this process. And the fact that nobody told you about this means that odds are is that you're using strategies and tactics where they require a lot more effort and they get a lot worse results than you realize. But my examples are not done. So let's go to the next one. Automated webinars. For those that don't know, I'm the guy that invented automated webinars. I invented them in 2008. I wrote a report called Supercharge Your Marketing with Evergreen Event-Driven Marketing. That was the name for automated webinars back then. And I introduced the world to the process of automated webinars. And this was the model that some still follow to this day, 13 years later. But it was the model, the main model that most people followed on any webinar system. Now, when we instituted automated webinars into our business, we went from selling a couple of backends a month to selling 10 to 15 or more backends every single day. Now, I taught this strategy to Mike Filsaime, Russell Brunson, Frank Kern, and Todd Brown, and many others. When, teaching insiders, I gave Mike the software that eventually became EverWebinar and Webinar Jam. I gave it to Russell Brunson, and because he had a problem with the IRS at that time where he was owed over $1 million in back payroll taxes, and he was able to solve his problem by this automated webinar. And everyone that I shared it with as an insider had the same experience I had. which was that it was easy to get people to register. We had like a 70% registration rate. We had an 80% show up rate. Good luck trying to get an 80% show up rate. And the conversion rates also were off the charts. You will never have an automated webinar that performs like that today. 2 years later, after I released the report, I sold a $10,000 workshop just to members of Founders Club. That was who I wrote this report for. It was a continuity program that we had in our business. And then 2 years after that, the rest of the world heard about it when there were webinar courses out there. So once again, you're seeing this pattern over and over again. Most of you haven't been online long enough possibly to see this pattern. I'm telling you that no matter what strategy you're using, no matter what new tactic has you excited, odds are it's been around for a while, and when you're using it, you're already sacrificing much of the results that you really, really would like to have for your business. All right, got one more example for you. This is live streaming, and this one I don't want to go into the same depth, but I just want to share another story where you can just see the amount of effort that one thing has versus another. Okay, so this is the very first live stream from a seminar that ever existed. We did it back in 2007, and because we were doing it in 2007, we had 10,000 people show up. Now, we might have even had more, but the most we could handle was 10,000. We spent zero on advertising. How did we get 10,000 people to show up when we weren't spending any on advertising? Well, because this was the very first time anyone had live streamed from a seminar, and we had a lot of people who were curious and they told their friends about it, and everybody showed up. Now, it was also tied to a launch where we did extremely well, but that's really not the point of this. The point of this is that we easily had 10,000 people show up just because we were doing a live stream. If any of you do live streams now, you know how hard it is to get to 10,000 people, or impossible it is, and it certainly wouldn't be like, hey, I'm having a live stream, and that would be enough of a reason for 10,000 people to show up. A year and a half later, I did a 24-hour live stream, right? September 18th, 2008. We actually beat John McCain that day. We beat everyone that day. We had more people show up on this live stream than any stream online that day. That includes Gary Vaynerchuk, that includes John McCain, that includes everybody. But it required me to be online for 24 hours straight, answering people's questions. It was a way of proving that I know my stuff, because we were selling a coaching program. And so what better way to prove that I have the answers for you by answering anyone's question for 24 hours. We had about 30,000 people total show up over those 24 hours. Fast forward, I did another event a year and a half ago, and that was called the Coalition to Save Internet Business. It had people like Mark Ford, Brian Dice, myself, Neil Patel, Russell Brunson, Mike Filsaime, Todd Brown, Brian Levesque, Anthony and Adrian Morrison, and so many others. We had about 50 different experts, and we broadcasted live for 24 hours from Mark Ford's private cigar bar. And guess how many people we had on that? In total, we had, once again, 30,000 people. So think about the difference in effort between me sitting at my desk for 24 hours straight versus me talking to a different expert every half an hour who is sitting on the couch with me. And that is the difference in effort that was required to get the same number of people. It's pretty insane, but it goes to show you how accurate this approach is, right? This way of looking at marketing life cycles is incredibly important, and it is pervasive as far as every strategy and tactic goes through this. Now, I want you to consider what that means. What that means is that when you use a strategy or tactic before the rest of the world finds out about it, it gives you an inordinate advantage, right? You are way out in front. Everyone else is in a pack. Those are the people that probably learned it from a course, but they didn't learn it pre-course, and that's where most of the power of every strategy lies. Now, let's just be clear. I don't have anything against courses, but courses are good for what they are, and they're not really the place where you should be getting your best tactics from. You know, if you want to have a webinar in your business and you don't know what's involved in it, then by all means, you need to buy a course so that you can understand how to integrate a webinar into your business. But once you have that, once you've gone through a course, you have that webinar in your business, you are never going to find the best strategies to actually market that webinar and to have that webinar make you money from a course. You have to get that information somewhere else. And throughout our time together, I'm going to show you where that someplace else is. I'm going to explain to you where you can find the single best strategies that the experts in webinars, the ones that have the courses, are using right now. The ones that will be in their course in 3 years from now or in 2 years from now, but haven't made their way into courses yet. So courses are great for what they are, but I mean, I know this is the case for me. I would assume it is for you. I've got a lot of courses that I would like to go through, but I don't have the time to go through those courses. Now, if you've ever heard that the early bird gets the worm, right? It applies just as much here as it does in that fable. The idea is that if you harness and leverage a marketing strategy or tactic before the rest of the world finds out about it, more often than not, the results are explosive. And as I said earlier, one of the reasons it works, I want you to think of anything that you've grown accustomed to, you eventually build a filter for, a perceptual filter. And that perceptual filter alerts you to stuff that's brand new versus stuff that you've seen before. Our prospects walk around with perceptual filters. When they come across something they've never seen before, it gets their attention. That extra couple of seconds of attention, when leveraged correctly, can mean all the difference. It can mean the difference between a winning campaign and a losing campaign. It can make the difference between a high conversion rate and a low conversion rate. It makes all the difference. Now, I would imagine at this point, right, I sincerely hope, right, that that you are wondering, like, who am I? Why should you trust me, right? You know, it's not that I like talking about myself. I actually don't. It makes me uncomfortable, but you should be asking, because there's literally, like, if not hundreds of thousands, millions of people who claim to be gurus, right? People trying to sell you something, people telling you that they know everything about everything. And if you took everyone at their word, you would be in a bad place. So if you haven't asked, well, who the hell are you and why should I trust you? You might want to start asking that question more often. And you certainly want to ask that question to anyone who's giving you business advice. You know, I did a interview a little while ago with a famous copywriter named David Deutsch, who's one of the A-level copywriters out there, who's written for Boardroom, Agora, and all the biggest companies out there. And he made a statement to me that I have really thought about ever since the time that he mentioned that to me. And he said, believability trumps proof. And when he said that, I really thought about it, and I realized that he's right. There are certain people who I believe, and they don't need any proof. You know, like, I'm a big Joe Rogan fan. I listen to Joe Rogan all the time, right? And if Joe Rogan were to say this is something he truly believes, that he knows this to be true, etc., I will believe him. I don't need to see proof. And there are other people out in the world who I believe are totally dishonest. And they could come to me with all the proof in the world, and I still won't believe it because I don't believe them. So believability trumps proof. And while I could certainly sit here and rattle off like a ridiculous number of proof points, what I hope to do here is, just by you knowing that I coached Mike, that I coached Ryan Dice of Digital Marketer, that I coached Russell Brunson of ClickFunnels, or Todd Brown of Marketing Funnel Automation, or the countless gurus that you probably know, that buys me some credibility and therefore believability in your eyes. You see, I believe that who you take advice from when it comes to marketing and business growth is extremely, extremely important. That the right person giving you the right advice at the right time can help you get to your dreams in a fraction of the time that it might take on your own. But the wrong person at the wrong time telling you the wrong strategies doesn't only not get you there fast, it actually puts you at risk of never achieving what it is that you're after. And there was a video that we used in a promotion that I think sums it up well. So I just want to play this 1.5 minute video for you. I think it'll explain where I'm coming from. If I can play it. There we go.
There's a high risk of mass extinction of internet businesses online. You have the Googles, Yahoos, YouTubes, etc., that are fixing the game with their data and AI. And so what we're here to do is fix that problem. My name is Rich Schefren. I've been kind of labeled as the guru to the gurus. Some people call me like an OG of internet marketing. I was the coach to Mike Filsaime, or Brian Dice, Russell Brunson, Todd Brown. I'm probably the only one in the game that has a single testimonial where I made $1 billion difference in a company. Why am I here? Why do I care? One of the things that I'm always taking very seriously is that if I'm going to teach someone how to grow their business, the stuff I teach them better work, because they're putting their life on the line. And there's a lot of stuff out there that doesn't work. Because when you sell something that doesn't work, what you're really doing is not only taking money from someone, you're robbing them of the hope that they had. Any promises that they gave to their family about life being different. I was in that situation. The first 2 years I was online, I failed because I was following the wrong advice. And so I'm back because I don't want to see the market that I helped create disappear. Well, here's what I'm going to do to solve it. I've called the world's top experts in every area of online marketing. We're going to go for 24 hours for free. You're going to get strategies and concepts and tactics that are working today, so that you can steal it, right? Winners. You can steal our winners so that you can be on the winning side as opposed to the losing side, which I believe that most small businesses, unfortunately, are going to be. I believe it's going to be one of the biggest events online in the last decade, if not longer. It's going to be epic. It's going to be 24 hours long. It's going to be free. If you come to this epic event, an event that only I think, could actually gather this amount of tremendous knowledge all in one building on February 19th at 7 p.m., then you will have what it takes to win today and tomorrow. And so be here.
So that is one of the things, right, that like I used that as a campaign back in February of 2020. And the reason being is that I really see that there are two forces against the average entrepreneur. First of all, you have literally everyone and their brother putting out a shingle saying that they're a guru and that they have the answer that you need. And if that wasn't bad enough, then you have Google, Yahoo, Microsoft, Facebook, who are really kind of like stacking the deck against you. I don't know how many of you are aware of this, but like this happened in early 2020, and it was one of the reasons that I put this coalition together, was that Google surpassed the point where 51% of the people that do a search in Google do not leave Google properties. So the original deal with search engines was they would scrape everyone's copyrighted content, and then they would put them in listings, and then people would go to the search engines, they would search, and then go back to the sites where that copyrighted content was lifted from. The deal was never, we're going to take your copyrighted content, we're going to put it up on our search engine, and then people will come to our search engine, and we'll keep the majority of traffic that come to us because we have your copyrighted and everyone else's copyrighted content on our search engine. And then we're going to keep more than half the visitors to ourselves. That's not part of the original deal. That's a totally different deal. And Facebook has changed the rules on us. You know, I don't know if you guys remember, but there was a time when every single company told all of their customers, come like us on Facebook. And that was because Facebook told all of us that you'd always be able to contact your customers. As soon as everyone got onto Facebook, guess what? Facebook changed the rules. This is what happens. So this is not a one-time event. This is a continual event, whether it's Amazon, Apple, Google, Microsoft, Yahoo, it does not matter. They're in it for themselves. And so you have that on one side, and then you have these fake gurus on the other side. And here's how I put them, right? Here's the ladder of advice. On the very bottom, you have the scumbags that are lying fake gurus. I kick people out of my programs in the past for this, because I really truly believe that you're better off stealing someone's money than selling them a strategy that doesn't work, because it's one thing to take someone's money, it's a whole nother thing to take their dream and to make their promises to their family, their kids, their spouse, what have you, and turn them into someone who cannot produce. So you have your lying fake gurus on the bottom. One step above that is someone who got a result one time and now thinks that this one time that they got this result is now the answer to everyone's problems. And many people out there, while they are not attempting to do bad, just because they got a single result a single time does not mean that the rest of the world needs to hear about that strategy. Then above that, you have gurus who might have gotten several results, but when they teach it to others, they do not get those same results, because for whatever reason, that specific person has a specific set of skills that allows them to generate results where others don't. Above that, there are gurus who get results for themselves and also have a track record of getting results for others. And then at the very highest level, which, maybe I'm a little biased because that's where I sit, but it's gurus who've gotten consistent results for themselves, gotten consistent results for others, and have gotten consistent results for others that you recognize. So you know that it's not fictitious names, right? Many of you, most of you, all of you know who Mike Filsaime is. Most of you, if not all of you, know who Russell Brunson is. So when I say that I coach them and they were at one stage when I started and they're at another stage when I'm done, that's not open to discussion. It's open to history, and history proves it, right? So you have to be very careful who you get advice from, because the wrong advice doesn't only just not bring you forward, it takes you many steps back. So with all that said, right, you might be asking, well, how do I find strategies and tactics that are at the beginning, that insiders know, that no one else knows? And the bad news is that no matter how hard you look for them, you will not find them. And I know that sucks, that they aren't out there. They're not out in courses. Now, what's even crazier is that they're out there, but they're hidden in plain sight. You don't know what to look for. You don't know whether this thing that you've never noticed before is a strategy that's currently working or is a strategy that's at its tail end, right? You just don't know. It's one of the reasons, many people know this about me, but I don't know that you do, right? Like, I've been a partner with Jay Abraham for over 20 years. I have the longest standing friendship and business partnership with Jay. And one of the things that I learned from Jay early on is that, Jay's on the phone constantly. He's always like discussing marketing and business growth, et cetera. And he starts every phone call the same way, and that is with what's working now. Now, think about it. If you're Jay Abraham and you're talking to great marketers and great business owners all day long, and you start every conversation with what's working now, guess what you know at the end of the day? You know what's working. And guess what? You know enough of that. By the end of the day, you might be able to spot a pattern. Now, unfortunately, you don't talk to the same people that Jay Abraham talks to. So you don't have the ability to kind of get that insider access. Now, if we were on Wall Street, this would be insider trading. It would be illegal, right? Knowing the pattern, knowing what's going to happen in advance is not really looked upon favorably when we're talking about the financial markets. However, because we're talking about marketing, right? Insider trading is legal. You will never go to jail. You will never get into trouble by sharing a winning marketing strategy or tactic, right? So I'm inviting you actually to this world of insider trading where insider trading is legal, because we're talking about marketing strategies and tactics. And here's the crazy thing. The crazy thing is that there's more upside in leveraging insider trading for winning marketing strategies and tactics than there is a stock. It's more scalable. You can make more money. So the question is, right, how do you find in real time, fully vetted marketing strategies and tactics that are working right now by the world's best experts and specialists in their field, and get that information in chunks that are 60 minutes or less so that you can easily learn it, apply it, and make money in the shortest time possible? Well, as you saw, I did this 24-hour live stream about a year and a half ago, right? 20 months ago. And for the past 20 months, I've built out a network of over 130 fully vetted marketing experts that continue to grow. That list of 130 fully vetted marketing experts grows each and every month. They've already revealed to me over 180 marketing strategies that are currently crushing it right now that the rest of the world doesn't know about. And I want to invite you to have access to them. What that means is, and I want you to imagine, never having a marketing challenge again, right? You have Groove, you have this great platform, but the platform, no matter how wonderful it is, will only make you money with the marketing that precedes it, with the marketing that drives traffic to it, with the marketing that converts prospects to buyers. So I want you to imagine that any marketing challenge that you have, I have the answer. And I don't only have the answer, I have the answer to what is working absolutely best for that thing. So any and every marketing challenge or problem solved immediately. Is your funnel underperforming? Is your offer not strong enough? Can you not sell high ticket or enough of them? Can you not afford to advertise because your cost per acquisition is higher than your average order value? Do you need more traffic? Are you not seen as an authority or expert in your market and it's costing you? Do you struggle with email deliverability and conversion? No matter what the challenge, no matter what the problem, I know what's going to work in that situation, and I know what's going to work better than anything else, and it's not anything that you're going to find in a course. It's not anything you're going to find on a forum. It's not anything that you're going to find in a Facebook group. If your funnel's underperforming, imagine Russell Brunson sharing with you his #1 funnel that generates $66 in profit per customer that he currently spends over $1 million a month with a positive ROI on, that he credits for growing ClickFunnels more than any single thing that he's ever done. Or Todd Brown revealing one number that reveals the extra 3 profit opportunities in every funnel. Or John Benson showing you the 14 elements of high converting upsells that can increase conversions up to 70%. Or if you have a poor webinar performance, how about Brandon Ham, who's an internal Agora specialist, showing you a simple tweak that turns losing webinars into winners? Or Onyx Singal, a simple add-on that cut the cost of advertising a webinar in half and increases show-up rates by 50%. Or Jason Fladline, who's not even listed here, but he shared a strategy with me that he's using right now to make his webinars work twice as well. Or Felicia Baguette showing how to 3x your webinar sales without creating any new campaigns, but just by repurposing certain assets of that webinar to create conversions elsewhere. Or Anthony Morrison, how to max out weekly webinars without even using notifications. Or if you can't sell enough high ticket, how about Franco Urbez, who shows you how to close $18,000 offers with a hidden agenda sales method that he used with free leads, and he was able to convert, I think it was 24 out of 25 of the prospects. Or Dave D, the back alley sales presentation template that made 430,000 in 4 hours. Or Cole Gordon, who is the guy that has set up more of the phone rooms for people like Todd Brown, Traffic and Funnels, Aaron Fletcher, and pretty much every big name guru that uses phone sales that wants to protect and make sure that their clients are treated in a white glove manner. Cole Gordon showed me a new strategy that I am certain if you sell high ticket, you're probably not using now, that right now is responsible for over 90% of the sales that Traffic and Funnels makes. And in a year or two, this will be outdated and it will no longer work, but works right now and it works gangbuster. Can't afford to advertise? You get the point, right? No matter what your problem, I've got an expert who's got the answer, who's already done it, working in the trenches, and is able to show you exactly what you need to do to replicate their success. So imagine, right? And I could go through all these, but I want to respect your time and I want to give you some of the meat, but I wanted to kind of set this up in a way where you truly appreciate what it is I'm delivering to you. In addition, I wanted you to appreciate the true chance and the opportunity that you have in front of you. So imagine getting the best of the best to share their winners with you each and every month. Not just one time, but to stay at the cutting edge of what's working each and every month, right? And what kind of experts? Well, people like Mike Filsaime, Neil Patel, and Jeff Walker, Todd Brown, Adrian Morrison, and Anthony Morrison, Chris Evans and Taylor Welsh of Traffic and Funnels, or Ryan Levesque of the Ask Method, or Caleb O'Dowd, one of the last copywriters ever to be Gary Halbert's protege, or Molly Mahoney, a social media wizard, or Mike Dillard, or John Lee Dumas, one of the top podcasters on the planet with Entrepreneurs on Fire, or Felicia Pegues, or Eric Sue, or Onyx Singal, or Katrina Ruth, or Jordan Menard. Jordan Menard is one of the top media buyers for info products. He buys traffic for Sam Ovens, Ty Lopez, Robert Kiyosaki, Dan Locke, Adrian Morrison, Jordan Belfort, Agora Publishing, and also Strategic Profits. Or James Von Elswick, who's often considered like the king of native advertising, or Alex Jeffries, or Nick Shackelford, one of the top e-commerce players out there, owns a $100 million agency. And oh yeah, maybe you've heard of one of his products, the fidget spinner. He is who popularized the fidget spinner. Or Dennis Hu, or Matt Wolf, or Jeremy Blossom, or Todd Herman of the Alter Ego Effect, or Kim Walsh Phillips, or Maxwell Finn of Unicorn Media, or Charles Kirkland, or Ross Cosberg, or Joe Fear, or Don Crowther, or Perry Marshall, or Scott Oldford. And believe it or not, that's just 33 experts. So there's another 97 experts revealing their very best strategies that are working right now. And odds are, and I don't mean any offense by this, you don't know any of these strategies. You know none of them. And so if you're frustrated, if you're overwhelmed, if you're confused, if you're not sure which steps to follow or which strategies to use, is there any really big question as to why? There really shouldn't be. So as you can see on the upper right-hand side, there is a logo and it's for Steal Our Winners. And the program that I launched back at that live stream that I have continued for the last 20 or so months, right, is called Steal Our Winners. And we release a new issue each and every month. So imagine getting a new batch of strategies and tactics that are currently crushing it, that the rest of the world does not know about. And that you get an interview of it, of me actually interviewing the person who's come up with the method, asking them the tough questions on your behalf. There is zero pitch in any of these. It's completely not allowed. In addition to the video, we translate that into a step-by-step action guide so you can easily follow the exact steps to take to get the exact results that our experts have. You get an audio version of it if you want to listen to it. You get the transcripts of it in case you're a reader and you want to read through it and highlight it. You get it in every format possible. And every action guide, right, explains to you the specific problem that the expert was dealing with, the exact strategy they used to overcome that problem, the step-by-step plan to execute and implement the strategy, the benefits that you should expect by using that strategy, and a real-life case study of that in action. Now, in addition to that, what I want to offer you is not only a batch of new strategies each and every month, but I also want to give you the complete library of back issues. That's close to 200, right? I think there's like about 180 to 200 strategies that are currently in our vault, right? And you get access to all of them, to every single one, right? Now, should you use every single one? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You should pick the one strategy that will move the needle the most for you right now. Use that one first. then move to the next. Now, in addition to that, besides getting new ones every month, besides the complete library of back issues, you also get 3 coaching calls with me. Now, I don't do coaching anymore. I consult, and I consult to companies like Agora Publishing and some other big companies out there. I'm the only person that I know of in our space who's been paid to teach Microsoft, Google, and Yahoo. And you have 3 coaching calls with me to use when you need it the most. In other words, it's a lifeline. It's a lifeline. And when I do a coaching call, I do not finish the coaching call until every single person has had their questions answered. So I will stay on as long as I need to stay on to make sure that you get my best advice to handle whatever obstacle or to exploit whatever opportunity is currently in front of you. Next, you're going to get a complete docu-series. So we split up that 24-hour live stream that I did back in February, and you're going to get the complete series, all of the episodes, plus we even did a private mastermind with everyone before that live stream, where all the experts sat down and shared advice with one another, and you get access to that too. If that mastermind was sold, it would easily be a $50,000 mastermind. How much do you think we would charge to be in one room with all those experts? You get that absolutely free. You also get the 12-month marketing blueprint, which is my entire swipe file of everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything. It's about 400 pages, a little less than that, like 300 and some odd, but close to 400. And in it, it has every single thing I did in my first year in business that took strategic profits from 0 to $7.4 million. That's every email, that's every blog post, that's every email that we sent to affiliates, that's every report, that's every presentation. Oh, it's 314 pages, there you go. So it has everything that I did in my first year that was responsible for that $7.4 million, and you get that too, absolutely free. Next, you also get the complete Agora Media Buying Bootcamp. So for a company the size of Agora, we have the need for a lot of media buyers. Unfortunately, we can't always hire professional, well-trained media buyers. So we have our own boot camp. It's a 12-day boot camp that we take all of our media buyers through, and you get access to the complete training. So if you ever wanted to be a media buying ninja, or you have someone on your team that you would like to be a media buying ninja, you get this absolutely free. Now, in 2000, a while back in 2008, when there was a financial crisis, I gathered some of the world's experts at that time and did an event back at Disney. And at that event, we had Frank Kern, Gary Vaynerchuk, many of you know who that is now, but nobody knew who he was back then, John Carlton, Jeff Walker, Mike Filsaime, Tom McCarthy, Paul Shield, Jay Abraham, and myself. This was a non-pitch event. And it was all about how to thrive in uncertain times. And if you haven't recognized, we live in uncertain times today, and this is now just as relevant as it was back then, primarily because of the timing, right? And we're in this uncertain time right now. And if you're not sure how best to kind of chart the course during times of uncertainty, this answers that question in spades. All right. So here's what you get. Here's what I'm offering you. And as we continue, I will then get into the strategies. But my goal is that I don't want anyone to miss out on this insane offer. I'm going to say why it's insane in a moment. But first, I just want to cover the offer. Then we'll move on. Okay, so you get a new issue of Steal Our Winners every month for life. That value is about $1,200 per year. It's actually more than that because we're raising the price, but just keep it at that because that's enough, right? You get the complete library of Steal Our Winners back issues, which is worth more than $1,386, but nonetheless, I didn't have time to update my slide. So there you go, it's $1,386. We have the 3 live group coaching calls with me. I charge $3 an hour. That's what I've charged for the last 12 years. And I get paid that. It's not like a BS kind of thing. I actually get paid $3,000 an hour to consult and coach. and you get those 3 opportunities with me to answer whatever questions you have to make sure that you get the most with the least in the fastest amount of time. You get the entire docu-series, that's a $999 value. You get the 12-month marketing blueprint, that's a $349 value. You get the media buying bootcamp of Agoras, that's $2,997 value. You get the Dream Team Home Study Program, that's $1,397. These are all real prices. In fact, I have sold many of these things for more, but these were the lowest that we sold them at. The total value is $17,413. It's actually more than that, but today your exclusive webinar price is just $997, and that covers you for life. Now, we partnered with Groove because of my relationship with Mike, and also, like, once you have Groove, if you have these kind of marketing strategies, then you are off to the races. So we partnered with Groove to create a Groove edition of Steal Our Winners. And so not only do you get everything that we produce for Steal Our Winners, but Mike and his team over at Groove, they produce 2 strategies a month, which you also get, right? And you get that included in the price. So every month you don't only get the Steal Our Winner strategies, but you get 2 Groove strategies of people doing amazing things inside Groove to give you ideas on how better to leverage the platform. And because of that, you're going to get, when we give you the back catalog, you're going to get all the back catalog of the Groove and also the Steal Our Winners. And going forward, you're also going to get both. So for less than the price of just 1 year of access, you're getting the action guides, you're getting the interviews, you're getting the audio recordings, you're getting the private Facebook group, you're getting the PDF transcripts, you're getting an email newsletter, and there's really a lot more. There's so much more, it's hard to kind of mention it. And if you are ready to pull the trigger and really kind of ensure that you gain the momentum that you desire, and let me talk about that for a second. Why does momentum mean so much? Why do you have that experience where you can do no wrong? Well, when you take a marketing strategy that's crushing it, that the rest of the world doesn't know about yet, and it works incredibly well, 2 things happen. As you saw in that graph, right? It takes very little effort, and yet the results are really high. So what happens? Your revenue goes way up. Meanwhile, the effort to create that revenue goes way down. That creates a lot of slack. It creates a lot of free time on your hands. That free time allows you to explore lots of other opportunities, especially because you have all this money coming in. Those are the seeds of momentum. And if you've never had that in your online business, it really is the difference between pushing a rock uphill and running downhill. It is a night and day difference. All right. So if you're still not sure, you have my bulletproof 30-day money-back guarantee. If for whatever reason you're not happy, all you have to do is let us know, and we will refund the purchase. Now, what I didn't tell you is that we're raising the price. We're raising the price right now. You can get a lifetime access plus everything that we've done in the past for just $9.99. We are raising the price to $2,000 in just a matter of days. Then we will have that price at $2,000 for some period of time, and then it will go away, or it will go to $4,000 or $5,000, and then it will go away. This is your very last chance to get this at $1,000. And you know what? Quite frankly, it's too good of a deal. And it's one of the reasons why we want to get rid of it. We want to first raise the price again, but ultimately we're going to get rid of it, especially when I tell you what we have in store in the future. You'll understand why this deal, as insanely great as it already is, when you know the details about what we're actually going to be doing, you'll see that this deal, which is insanely great already, is absurd, absolutely absurd. It is more an IQ test than it is an actual offer. So I wanted to put all this ahead so that then we can take our time and I can go over these strategies with you and share strategies that are from Steal Our Winners. Now, I also hope that you recognize that whether you decide to be a Steal Our Winners subscriber or not, whether you join in the GrooveFunnels Steal Our Winners edition, that you really need to understand where you are currently as it relates to those two lines, that graph, the life cycle of every marketing strategy and tactic. Because if you are currently towards the right, which my assumption would be that you are, if you do nothing to change that, then you're setting yourself up for a most likely failure. But even if you don't fail, you're setting yourself up to work insanely harder for a much diminished result. And you shouldn't settle for that. Your life is more than that. You deserve better than that. And that's why I'm here. That's why I came out of retirement. What I wanted to build is where we're taking Steal Our Winners, and you're going to see that as we get to the end here. But before we do, let's get into some of the strategies. Now, if I've already convinced you, if you see the logic and everything that I've shared with you already, then all you have to do is go to groovefunnels.com/SOW, and there you'll see a recap of the offer, and you'll have the ability to join us so that you no longer are an outsider, but that you're a true insider, benefiting from true inside information, the kind of information that can grow your business incredibly fast, the kind of information that gives you the momentum that every entrepreneur craves. So with that said, let me now just share a few strategies with you. So 1 million prospects on an email list with a 50% open rate. WTF. That's an insane number. And it was a strategy that was shared with us with Fernando Cruz. Fernando is who I consider to be, if not the best, one of the best marketers that works at Agora. Funny side note, the very first product that Fernando ever bought when he started internet marketing was a program that Jay Abraham and I did, and we have a wonderful testimonial for Fernando, even though that was 17 years ago. So how does Fernando generate a 50% open rate? Now, Fernando, like I said, he works at Agora. The division that he's in charge of is Legacy, which is the most profitable division of Stansberry. We just sold Stansberry to a SPAC for $3 billion with a B, $3 billion. And it was partly because of the strategy and what he was able to do at Legacy, which is now easily over $400 million a year. They might even be pushing $500 million, just that division. So Fernando is segmenting, but it's a segmenting that's probably different than the type of segmenting you do, right? He's taken Legacy Financial from 100 million to 400 million, and now it's way past 400 million. Now, in case you don't know, Agora sells all of our backends by email, which means that change the email performance, you change the backend sales dramatically. Inbox placement went from 89% to 98%. And the net effect of that change was that when doing webinars, they more than doubled registrants. Now, I don't want you to think they went from 10 people who registered to 20. How about they went from 125,000 people who registered to 250,000 who registered? We're talking about webinars that on their first day do 20, 30, or $40 million. That's the kind of results that we're talking about. And so very lucky to have someone like Fernando sharing his strategies with us. So what he segments by is by engagement. So he creates these buckets, right? Anyone who's opened an email and clicked on a link within the last 15 days is put in the first bucket. Anyone who has opened an email in 16 days to 30 and clicked on a link is in a second bucket. Now, the first bucket is going to get emails daily. The second bucket is going to get 5 emails per week. The third bucket is for anyone who's opened and clicked an email in 31 days to 45 days. They're going to get 3 emails per week. In the fourth bucket, which is opened and clicked an email between 46 and 60 days, they're going to get 1 per week. Now, let's say that someone is in that fourth bucket. They haven't clicked on a link. They haven't opened an email and clicked on a link in 46 to 60 days, but they open that 1 email that they get that week and they click on a link. Well, then guess what? They go right back to bucket number 1. They've opened an email within the last 15 days, and now they go back to daily. Fifth bucket is someone who has opened and clicked on an email within 60 to 120 days. They get 2 per month. And sixth, never opened, excuse me, they get 1 per month. That's it, right? And here's the actual execution. Daily emails, every time when you're doing a send, you email the first group first, and then whoever is slotted to get the emails, but you do it in order of their engagement level. So you send to the first bucket, then the second bucket, then the third bucket. The idea is that every time you send an email and it's unopened, think of it as a ding against you in the eyes of the email service provider that delivered that email. So you want to start each day with the maximum number of opens and clicks, and then cascade down from there, and recognize that when you send emails to people that don't open and click, there is a cost, and that cost is that you are less likely to get the emails that are being opened and clicked delivered. Right? Anytime someone opens and clicks, they move the prospect back to the daily emails. Some clever ways to increase email interaction, right, is that you embed links with mail to. So when someone clicks on a button in the email, it opens up a new email that they send to you, right? So you can do a survey like, did you get value out of this email? Yes or no, but either way, when they click that, it opens an email that gets sent to you. And what the ESP sees is that they are opening your emails and actually emailing you back, which means that this is an email that you should receive. You can also have rate this email with good, great, or bad. And once again, even if they click bad, the email service provider sees that as a good thing because all they see is that they're sending you an email back. Email, here's just another strategy for an abandonment sequence. Email a picture of the order form, and when they click on the order form image, take it back to your, take them back to the pre-populated order form with wherever they left off after exiting, and notice the increase in conversion rates. Also, try one-word subject lines and discounts in subject lines. They tend to get greater open rates. All right, so that was a strategy that Fernando shared with us. He shared it with us a few months ago. We've gotten amazing results for many of our subscribers who have already used this methodology. And I hope that you use this methodology, and with Steal Our Winners, we would give you more of an action guide. We'd give you a lot more information than what I just shared here, but this is enough for you to get started and to really recognize that every email that you send that is not opened is a ding against you. Now, there's still time, obviously. Time is running out, though. The price is going up, and then it will be taken off the market completely. So you can go to groovefunnels.com/SOW. Next, the OLOF method for getting a 30 to 50% conversion rate on upsells. Now, the OLOF method is counterintuitive and yet at the same time really effective. OLOF is an acronym. It stands for the 4 things that you want to optimize, which is 1, your offer, 2, the length of time of that offer, 3, the opening, and 4, the format. All right, so let's talk about the offer component, the first letter first, the O, right? Generally, an upsell should be one of these 3 types, either done for you version of what they just bought, more of what they just bought, or get the primary result of what they just bought even faster. Now the length, whatever length your upsell, make it longer. It's counterintuitive, but make it longer. The opening is where it's extremely counterintuitive, because what Justin recommends is that you spend several minutes reducing buyer's remorse in the beginning of the video by really congratulating them on their purchase, and spending quite a bit of time of letting them know all the wonderful things that are going to happen for them, and really cementing that sale before moving on to try and sell the next thing in the upsell. And while everyone I know who's recorded this and seen the explosive results, while they're recording it, think this is way too long, this makes no sense, I'm going to lose most people, but it actually does work, and it works incredibly well. The format, as you can see here, it really seems as if your order is not complete. Do not close this window or click the back button. Could be result of being double billed. Please watch this, right? And like, do this first. Please watch the important new member update from Blake in full right now. Your next steps will appear here at the end of your video. So create a basic page that forces customers to watch the video only, then reveal the offer copy below the video once the pitch begins. And here's Aaron Fletcher, for those who don't know Aaron. Here's what he had to say. So Aaron is a contributor to Steal Our Winners. We have lots of testimonials. You'll see them on the page of GrooveFunnels.com/SOW. But this was something that Aaron texted me privately, and I just wanted to play it for you.
Hey, this is Aaron here at the Fletcher Method. I just want to go over the metrics for a quick test that we did over 2 weeks. So going through Steal Our Winners, Rich's awesome program, I got exposed to the OLOF method, so Justin's method for launching low ticket offers and all the nuanced strategies that method involves. So we tested everything. I tested the sales page format, literally the width, the copy, the one-time offer page design, the video script, the pricing ratio of the first offer to the second offer, the offer and positioning, everything. We tested everything. And as you'll see from the screenshot, in just 2 weeks, we've added an additional $200,000 to our bottom line. The one-time offer that I was very skeptical of, $1,000 one-time offer, is converting at just under 30%. And there's a whole bunch of stuff in the OLOF method that we implemented. But I just want to say the bottom line is it works really, really well. So thanks, Rich. Thanks, Justin. It's awesome. Cheers.
So that's Aaron. And as you can see, like, this is a front end product of his. He put in this one-time offer that was $1,000. He has the straight offer, which is currently converting at 14.9%, and the 3-pay version, which is converting at 14.15. Add that up and you're at 29 some odd percent. It contributes to a $500 cart value, which for a front end is insane, and allowing him to scale massively. So he's made an extra $200,000+ in 2 weeks, and will continue to do so. And that's the power of using some of these strategies. Will you make 200,000? Probably not. But could you add 20,000, 50,000? Most likely. And if you have any front end where right now you don't have a high converting upsell, it's the difference between a winner and a loser. All right, there's still time. You can go to GrooveFunnels.com/SOW and not miss out on really ensuring your success today and into the future by plugging into me and my mission of making sure that you have a continual stream of strategies and tactics, currently crushing it, that the rest of the world does not know about. But I don't want you to miss out on this opportunity. So please make sure that you check it out and take advantage of this insane offer that is going away. Before it goes away, it will double in price, but trust me, it is not only doubling in price, it will ultimately be gone forever. Next, the peel and stick YouTube ad method that has decreased my CPA by over 50%. So decrease the cost per acquisition by 50%. This is pretty straightforward, right? You run an ad like you normally would to gather data for 7 to 10 days. You then download the full placement list on where the ad was shown. When you do that, you then download it as a Excel file. Then you sort it by the conversion rate. And you'll see, right, that many of the placements where YouTube has placed your ad have 0 conversions, right? So what you do is you then delete about half of the initial placements based on that criteria. So you'll have more than 50% that don't convert, but you only want to lop off the 50%. Now, would YouTube ultimately lop off that 50%? Yes, but they would spend a lot more of your money before they got rid of that 50%. When you get rid of the 50%, what happens is that you force YouTube to find new places immediately. So it's forcing the algorithm to learn faster and therefore to drive your costs down. And ultimately, when we've done this and done it repetitively, we see a 50% decrease in cost. So you delete 50% of the placements, and then you upload that list of exclusions back into the campaign, and you tell YouTube to exclude these placements, right? Google will then exclude that list and serve new placements to replace them, right? You run for another 7 days, and now you refine and you do the process again, but instead of deleting 50%, this time you delete 25%. You wait another 7-10 days. You then you eliminate the bottom 15%, then 10%, then 5%, and you're good to go. And now you're spending half as much as your competitors for the same traffic on YouTube. This is what it looks like. Exclusions in your Google Ads account, that is your YouTube Ads account. And there is still time to get Groove, steal our winners at this insanely low price. But trust me, time is running out. Next, the shock therapy Facebook ad approach that cut my cost per lead in half by Kenneth Yu. Kenneth Yu used to be the chief copywriter of Mindvalley. He's also a seller on ClickBank and one of the top sellers on ClickBank who's crushed it and is a font of great information and someone who I'm lucky enough to call a friend. Here is the Steal Our Winner segment and strategy that he shared with us. 80% of your ads success relies on this, and no, it's not your headline. Advertising on social media requires that you get prospects to stop scrolling. The copy-centric approach, writing body copy and headlines first, and then choosing an image that fits the ad copy is the wrong approach. 80% of getting the prospect to stop scrolling depends on the image, not the headline. So you really should start with the image first, and that's what Kenneth recommends. So Kenneth's shock therapy, create and test scroll stopping ads with an image first approach. What that means is that you start by finding the most visceral image, GIF, or video that you can find that provokes a reaction and grabs attention. Once you've chosen that asset, you then write copy that captures that emotion, that bridges that scroll stopping visceral image and ties it back to the solution and sells the click. So here's how you do it. You find unusual images on stock photo websites, for example, like artgrid.io, but there are literally thousands of stock photo sites. And you use these special words that he calls open sesame keywords. And those open sesame keywords are bizarre, weird, surreal, abstract, funny, scary, and a whole bunch more, right? So you take whatever word you would have searched, but you put bizarre in front of it, or weird in front of it, or surreal in front of it. And by doing so, you're finding the most wackiest, weirdest, strangest, scroll-stopping images that you can find. So like the few images that you want to test, and here is the perfect image checklist. This is what you're looking for. Does the image have eyes? If it does, it is better than if it doesn't. Does the image pop, even when you look at it from afar? Does the image inspire a visceral emotional response? Does the image tell a story? Can you find a creative way to relate that image back to your offer? If you find images like that and you put them in your ads, they will stop the scroll, they will boost the performance of your ads, and you'll watch your return on ad spend increase from anywhere about 150% to 200%. And so there is still time to join us to make sure that you're not left behind, to plug into the most powerful, the most unknown, the most momentum causing strategies and tactics that are currently crushing it that the world doesn't know about. Now, I said to you at the very beginning of this about where we're headed, and I didn't even have enough time to walk you through everything I'd love to walk you through as it relates to our future. But what I can tell you is that the current version of Steal Our Winners should be looked at as nothing more than our minimum viable product, something that we're testing away from and that we will completely actually move away from within a few months. When we move away from that, we are actually, we have people in a beta version of a new platform that we've been working on relentlessly. It leverages AI and it has more of a Netflix type model. So every strategy that we share is about anywhere from 30 minutes to 60 minutes long. We respect that everyone is time pressed and that you shouldn't have to go through a course to get an outcome. In fact, that time would be better served getting the outcome than learning about outcomes. And so we have developed this platform, right, where every strategy now can be previewed, every strategy has its own thumbnail, every strategy ultimately is tied to an AI system that you train based on whether or not you would use that strategy, whether you use that strategy, what result you got. And so this is one of the reasons why we are getting rid of lifetime, because it doesn't serve us anymore to be selling that kind of access, because we're moving to a Netflix model that also uses an Audible style pricing, which means very shortly people will be subscribed to get credits, and those credits they can use to watch a single episode, but you have none of that to worry about because you have unlimited access. Now, as we grow Steal Our Winners, there will be more than just me doing the interviews. So while right now Steal Our Winners grows by about 10 strategies a month, very shortly it will grow by 20 strategies a month, then 30, then 40, then 50 strategies a month. The goal is to have people like me who have achieved a certain pinnacle of success in a certain realm and have them do the interviews in their area of expertise. And so this platform that we're offering you right now is the ability to, one, never pay us again to access Steal Our Winners. Two, to get a head start with the AI system. You won't have access to it yet, but you will be the first to be able to access it. And therefore, you will be training our AI system to help you find the most valuable marketing strategies to grow your specific business. And you will have a head start in front of the entire marketplace. So you get everything that I shared throughout this whole webinar. But if you truly understand what I'm offering you, it's basically like if Amazon did a lifetime offer when they first released the Kindle and said, like, once you have this special Kindle, you will never have to pay for another ebook again. Anything that is available on the Kindle, you will get for free. That's what I'm offering you. Obviously, I can't do that for Amazon. I can do it for us. But imagine having the complete access to the entire catalog on Amazon or the entire catalog on Audible. That's what I'm offering you here. But even better than that, I'm not just offering you that promise, because what you get today is insanely valuable and is already many times worth more than what we're charging you. But I'm letting you know that as good as that is, it actually gets a lot better. So with all that, I want to thank you for being here. I hope that I have taught you something new regarding the life cycle of every marketing strategy and tactic out there. If you learned that, then I hope that as you go forward from this day forward and you look at marketing strategies and you look at marketing tactics, the first thing that you consider is how long has this been out there? Who is currently using this right now to get amazing results? And if you can't answer those questions, then I would suggest that you walk very carefully, that you move forward in a way where you limit your downside, because I don't want to see you fall victim to either a fake guru or a guru who got success one time and now thinks that that one time that they had a success is a prescription for the rest of the world, no matter where they are. And with that, I sincerely, with every fiber of my being, hope that you join us at groovefunnels.com/SOW. I really don't see this as an offer. I see this as an IQ test. If you have an online business or ever plan on having an online business, what I'm offering you right now is something that will never be offered again at this price, and ultimately will just never be offered again. And so this is your opportunity. It is something that, like I said, is going away. And all I can do is implore you to really take me up on this. I can assure you that I've been around for over 20 years, and the people that have taken me up on any of the offers that I've made over the course of my lifetime will attest to it being one of the best decisions that they ever made in their business life. And I can assure you that if you take me up on this offer, you will feel that way now, and you will feel that way even more as time goes on. So join us at groovefunnels.com/SOW. Thank you for being here, and I hope that you got amazing value today. Goodbye.
Thank you so much, Rich. As always, you gave great content. The chat was blowing up. Hugely happy with what you presented today. Just as we walk out the door, I will let you know, I'm Donna Fox. I'm the CMO of Groove. I purchased Steal Our Winners back personally myself when he first launched it. I'm so glad that I'm a lifetime member, because after my almost 20 years of online marketing experience, Rich's monthly Steal Our Winners program is the one training that I make sure never to miss. I am still learning every single month from you, Rich, after all these years. Thank you so much. Everyone, I encourage you to go out, visit groovefunnels.com/SOW and take advantage of this amazing lifetime offer. All good things must come to an end, and so is this offer on midnight on Sunday. So thank you so much, Rich. We appreciate you tremendously.
Thanks, Donna. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.